All right, so if you've ever kind of been like me and just been staring at the supplement aisle, just overwhelmed by the sheer number of creatine options out there,
Oh, yeah.
you are not alone.
Absolutely.
Like, what is the difference between creatine monohydrate and HCl?
Right.
Does micronized actually matter?
Yeah.
And then is one brand like really that much better than another, or is it all just marketing?
Yeah. Are you really paying extra just for the fancy label?
Totally. And then how much does price actually play a role in the quality of creatine you're getting?
Right.
So today we're doing a deep dive into all things creatine. And to do that, we've got a really interesting blog post from a fitness enthusiast
Okay.
who has a pretty serious bodybuilding background, actually.
Wow.
And he's done a ton of research and even like personal experimentation with a bunch of different creatine brands.
So this isn't just someone who's like read a few articles. They've actually tried this stuff out.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's actually put in the work and the time to figure out what works, what doesn't, what's worth your money, what's not.
That's awesome.
So think of this deep dive as like your shortcut to understanding the creatine world
I like it.
and figuring out how to choose the best option for you.
Cutting through all the noise, all the marketing hype,
sure.
getting down to the essential.
Yeah, so we're going to break down like the key things to look for in a creatine supplement,
Okay.
like quality and purity, third-party testing.
Uh-huh.
And of course, we're going to talk about value.
Making sure you're getting the most bang for your buck.
For sure. So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
So the first thing this fitness enthusiast really stresses in his blog post is the importance of creatine monohydrate.
Okay.
He says it's like the OG of creatine.
Right. The original gangster.
Yeah, exactly. And for good reason, there are like over 700 studies that have looked at creatine monohydrate.
Wow.
And it's proven to be safe and effective.
So all this hype about the new forms of creatine,
Right.
is it really justified?
It seems like not really.
Yeah.
He's like, monohydrate is the one that's been studied the most.
It's the tried and true.
Yeah, it's the tried and true, it works. So why mess with a good thing?
And if you're looking for those classic benefits of creatine,
Like what?
increasing muscle mass,
Okay.
improving strength and power,
Uh-huh.
enhancing athletic performance,
Yeah.
monohydrate is the way to go.
So he's saying, like, don't get distracted by all the fancy marketing for these new forms of creatine.
Right.
Monohydrate is the one that has the science behind it.
Exactly. The research is there. The results are there.
It's like the foundation.
Absolutely.
So then the question becomes, okay, if monohydrate is the gold standard, how do you choose between all the different brands out there?
Right, because they all claim to be the best.
Exactly. And that's where quality, purity, and third-party testing come in.
Okay. Break that down for me.
So basically, just like with any other product you buy, you want to make sure the ingredients are high quality and that the product is pure, meaning it doesn't have any contaminants or fillers.
Makes sense.
And the best way to know that is to look for brands that have their products tested by an independent third party.
So it's not just the brand saying, hey, trust us, our stuff is good.
Yeah, exactly. It's like having an unbiased expert come in and verify that what's on the label is actually what's in the product.
Okay, so third-party testing, that's a big one.
Huge. It's like the ultimate seal of approval.
Got it.
So the blog post we're looking at actually goes into a pretty detailed comparison of different creatine brands.
Oh, cool. Let's hear it.
And he starts with one that's not actually a brand you can buy directly, but it's like the gold standard ingredient, and it's called Creapure.
Creapure. Okay, I've heard that name before.
Yeah, it's made in Germany, and it's known for being super pure, like 99.99% pure creatine monohydrate.
Wow, that's impressive.
Right, and they have really rigorous testing standards, so you know you're getting a top quality product.
So if I see a creatine supplement that says made with Creapure,
That's a good sign.
that's a good sign.
Yeah, it means they're using a high-quality ingredient.
Okay.
Now, he also mentions that typically those products that are made with Creapure are going to be a little bit more expensive, probably in the range of like 30 to 50 cents per serving.
So you are paying a premium, but you're getting that top tier quality. Okay.
Makes sense. So then moving on to actual brands you can buy, he talks about Optimum Nutrition.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that one at the store.
Yeah, they're pretty popular, and for good reason. They use micronized creatine monohydrate.
Okay, so what's the deal with micronized?
Basically, it means the creatine particles are super tiny,
Okay.
which makes them easier to dissolve in water, and it can be gentler on your stomach.
Oh, so if you've ever had that problem where your creatine doesn't mix well or gives you an upset stomach.
Micronized could be a good option.
Interesting.
And Optimum Nutrition is also third-party tested through Informed Choice.
Okay, so another layer of quality assurance.
Yep, and their price point is pretty good, usually around 25 to 35 cents per serving.
So a solid choice overall.
For sure. Then there's Thorne Research, which is known for having really high standards across all their products.
Okay, yeah, they have a good reputation.
Yeah, so their creatine is 99.9% pure monohydrate, and it's NSF certified for sport.
NSF, what does that mean?
It's basically a certification that means the product has been tested for banned substances.
Oh, so this is super important for athletes.
Absolutely, especially if you're competing at a high level where you're subject to drug testing.
You don't want to risk getting flagged for something that's in your supplement.
Exactly. So that NSF certification gives you that peace of mind.
Makes sense, but it probably comes at a price.
Yeah, Thorne Research is definitely on the higher end, usually around 60 to 70 cents per serving.
So you're paying for that extra level of testing and assurance.
For sure. Now, if you're looking for something that's more budget-friendly,
Okay.
he recommends bulk supplements.
I've heard of them. They're like the Costco of supplements, right?
Yeah, kind of. They sell everything in bulk, so you get more for your money. And their creatine is still 99.9% pure monohydrate, and it's third-party tested.
So you don't have to sacrifice quality even if you're on a budget.
Exactly. And another thing that's cool about them is that they don't add any extra ingredients.
Oh, so it's just pure creatine.
Yep. No fillers, no artificial sweeteners, no colors.
So if you have sensitivities or allergies.
Bulk supplements is a good option.
Nice.
And they're super affordable, usually like 15 to 20 cents per serving.
Wow, that's a steal.
Right. So they're definitely a great value for your money.
Awesome.
And then the last brand he talks about is Transparent Labs.
Okay.
And this one seems to be his personal favorite.
Interesting. Why is that?
Well, they use high-quality ingredients, including Creapure.
Oh, so that gold standard we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So, you're getting that top-tier purity.
Okay.
And they also do third-party testing, and they specifically call out that their products are free of artificial ingredients.
So they're ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, pretty much. And their price point is in the mid-range, like 40 to 50 cents per serving.
So good balance of quality and value.
Yeah, he seems to think they're a really solid option.
Cool.
Now, let's go back to Creapure for a second, because it's more than just about that 99.99% purity number.
Okay. What else is there?
So the way Creapure is manufactured is really important because it minimizes the levels of certain contaminants.
Like what kind of contaminants?
So things like creatinine, dicyandamide, and dihydrotriazine.
Those are some big words.
I know, right? But basically, these are compounds that can naturally occur in creatine, but if the levels are too high, it can affect the effectiveness of the supplement, and it can even cause digestive issues for some people.
Oh, so it's not just about how pure the creatine is, it's also about what else is in there.
Exactly, and that's why that patented manufacturing process for Creapure is so important.
It keeps those contaminants to a minimum.
Yeah, and the fitness enthusiast who wrote this blog post, he said that in his experience, brands that use Creapure, like Transparent Labs
Okay.
and NW Sports,
Uh-huh.
tend to dissolve better and cause fewer stomach problems.
So that's like an anecdotal piece of evidence.
Yeah, but it's interesting because it lines up with what we know about the purity of Creapure.
Right. Makes sense.
So beyond just the brand names themselves, he also talks about some other things to keep in mind when you're choosing a creatine supplement.
Okay. Like what?
So we already talked about micronization, which can be helpful for people who have trouble with mixing or digestion.
Right.
But he also mentions additives like fillers, artificial sweeteners, and colors.
Oh, yeah. Those can be sneaky.
Totally. And if you're sensitive to those things, you definitely want to look for a creatine that's as pure as possible, like bulk supplements.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's third-party testing, which we've talked about quite a bit. But it's so important because it gives you that extra level of assurance that you're getting what you're paying for.
Especially if you're an athlete and you need to be super careful about banned substances.
Exactly.
So it sounds like there are a lot of factors to consider when choosing a creatine supplement.
Yeah, it can definitely feel overwhelming, but hopefully this deep dive has given you some clarity.
I think so.
Now, the big question is, do these subtle differences between high-quality brands actually translate to noticeable differences in your workouts?
Yeah, like are you really going to see better results if you spend more money on a premium brand?
Right, and according to the fitness enthusiast who wrote this blog post, and based on his own personal experience, he didn't really notice a huge difference in his strength or power gains between the different brands he tried,
Interesting.
as long as they were all high quality and third-party tested.
So it's more about consistency than anything.
Yeah, exactly. And this actually aligns with what the science says, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a review published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition that basically said the most important thing for creatine to work is to take it consistently every day.
Makes sense. It's like anything else. You have to be consistent to see results.
Exactly. And they recommend taking around 3 to 5 grams per day.
Okay, so consistent dosing is key.
Yep. And once you've got that down, you can start thinking about value, like how to get the best quality for your money.
Right, because there's definitely a range of prices out there.
Yeah, so bulk supplements is a great example of a brand that offers excellent quality at a really affordable price because they cut out all the extra stuff like fancy packaging and marketing.
So you're really just paying for the creatine itself.
Exactly. But then there are brands like Transparent Labs that use premium ingredients like Creapure,
Okay.
and they have that extra level of testing, so you might be paying a bit more, but you're also getting that peace of mind.
So it's about finding that balance between what's important to you.
Exactly. Some people might prioritize price above everything else,
Right.
while others might be willing to pay a bit more for that extra level of quality and assurance.
Makes sense.
So ultimately, it comes down to your personal preferences and priorities.
Got it.
So after all this research and experimentation, what brand did this fitness enthusiast end up choosing as his go-to?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Well, he landed on Transparent Labs. Yeah, he felt like they offered the best combination of quality, purity, and value.
So that Creapure was a big selling point for him.
Yeah, it seems like it. And he also liked that they don't use any artificial ingredients and that they're committed to third-party testing.
So he's basically saying if you're looking for a high-quality creatine supplement, that's a good option.
Yeah, but he also made it clear that any of the brands he mentioned could be a good choice.
Oh, okay.
As long as they meet those key criteria,
Sure.
using creatine monohydrate
Mm-hmm.
and having third-party testing.
Got it. So don't get too caught up in the hype of the fancy new forms of creatine.
Exactly.
Is it-
Stick with the basics from a reputable brand.
And most importantly, take it consistently.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, so there you have it.
That's the lowdown on creatine.
Hopefully now you feel a little bit more informed
Less overwhelmed.
and ready to make a decision about which creatine supplement is right for you.
Absolutely. So just to recap the key takeaways, stick with creatine monohydrate. Look for brands that do third-party testing.
Yeah.
And then consider your own individual needs, like if you need a micronized form
Yeah.
or if you're sensitive to additives.
Right.
And remember, the most important thing is consistency.
Take it every day and you'll start to see those results.
Exactly. Now, I want you to think about what your personal non-negotiables are when it comes to supplements.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Is it budget? Is it purity? Is it specific certifications like NSF?
Uh-huh.
Or is it having minimal ingredients?
Yeah.
Once you figure out what's most important to you,
Right, yeah.
you can narrow down your choices.
And find the best option for you.
Exactly. And that might be one of the brands we talked about today, or it might be something completely different.
Totally.
The point is to be an informed consumer and to make a decision that aligns with your own individual needs and goals.
Couldn't agree more.
So that's it for our deep dive on creatine.
Thanks for having me.
It was great having you. Thanks for all your insights. And to everyone listening, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.